What's going on, Gifted Hands family? It is Elijah back with another lesson, and today we are going to be talking about how you can take simple scales, you can take a group of notes, a scale, and you can make some beautiful harmonic movements out of your scales, all right? So scales aren't just used to, play lines and licks. You might just think that's the only use for it is creating these runs, but you can also use your scales to create harmonic movements. So we could do stuff like that. Or we can create harmonic movements using scales. So that is what we're going to dive into today. We will specifically look at 3 scales: the major scale, the melodic minor scale, and the altered scale. We're gonna look at how we can use those 3 scales specifically to create these harmonic movements. So let's dive into it. So for the first scale, the major scale, we're gonna use a song example. It's going to be Stand by Donnie McClurkin, and the intro goes like this. All right, so that's the intro. And the right hand is doing this. So you kind of got this melody line, right? You got that melody line going on, and we're not just playing one note for the melody line, right? It's harmonized, the melody line. There's harmonies being created from the melody line. And the way that, an easy way to think about this, to kind of conceptualize it or to remember this concept, is going to be by thinking about it in terms of the scale that the melody is being played from. So we're in the key of A flat major, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. That's our major scale. And so this melody line, for the most part, except for this E, that's the only note that's not in A flat major, but the rest of it is pulled from the A flat major scale, okay? And so when we have a harmony that's created from this melody line, we're doing that by taking another note from the A flat major scale and just separating it by an interval, right? So the interval we have here is a sixth. In this right here, it's a minor 6. Now it's a major 6, minor 6, it's a major 6, right? So they're all 6 intervals of a sixth. They alternate between major and minor 6. So, okay? So. So how are we using this? Like I said, you take your major scale, you create a melody line, and then from that melody line, you can just pick an interval. It can be really any interval, and you can experiment with different intervals. We could, instead of doing the 6, we could have did that with thirds. That would be with thirds, all right? We could do it with fifths. Let's try it with fifths. So, let's see. That one's a little weird. It's a little different, right? Doing it with fifths. Let's see, what else could we do? We could have did like a major 7th. That'd be kind of funky. Or not even a major 7th, just sevenths. Let's see. So let's do. And then. All right. So that would be with sevenths. That's different. But yeah, you can experiment with different intervals and see what is created, what sound is created when you just lock in. We're picking an interval, and then we're following that, we're keeping that interval there, and we're just moving back and forth, up and down across the major scale. That's the whole concept, okay? So with this intro, they picked 6, the interval of 6, and then we got the chords going on our left. We're following the melody in our right, and that bottom note, that harmony note, is just following wherever the melody goes. If the melody goes up, the bottom note, the harmony note goes up with it. If the melody goes down, that harmony note goes with it, all right? So, 2, 3. All right, so that is how you can use the major scale and create some harmonies from the major scale, okay? All right, the next scale that we're going to look at is going to be the melodic minor scale. And so for this melodic minor scale, we're gonna use this song example. It's gonna be by Todd Galbraith, and it's called Lord, You Are Good. It's in the key of B flat. And the song goes like this. All right, so the main, I guess, movement that we want to focus in on is going to be on the 4. So we got 1, Lord, you are good. On the 2, you've been so good. To the 3, Lord, you are good. And then when we get to the 4, you've been better than good. When we get here to the 4, now we're gonna take the same concept that we talked about earlier. We're taking a scale and we're gonna harmonize that scale. We're gonna create harmonies from that scale. So the 4, we're in B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 is E flat, right? The 4 in any major key is normally a major chord, right? But with this song, and a lot of times in gospel, we'll get these kind of like substitutions on the 4, a chord substitution on the 4. So instead of playing a major chord, we'll play a minor chord. And not just like a regular minor triad. One thing that I like to play is a minor 6 chord. So we got root, minor 3rd, 5th, and then the major 6. So that's a minor 6 chord, okay? That is an E flat minor 6. That's gonna be our 4 chord. And without getting too deep into the theory where it comes from, just know that this scale is pulled from a melodic minor scale. So E flat minor 6 is pulled from an E flat melodic minor scale. And if you don't know what a melodic minor scale is, it's a minor scale. So we got 1, 2, minor 3rd, 4, 5. Then we got a major 6th and a major 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Major 6, major 7. Okay? So that melodic minor scale has the major 6 and the major 7, which is different from the natural minor. The natural minor has a minor 6 and a minor 7. And so here's the natural minor. That's E flat natural minor or E flat Aeolian. The melodic minor has that major 6 and major 7, okay? It's a little bit more positive sound, a little more hopeful than the natural minor. But anyway, so that's the scale that we're gonna be using, is that melodic minor. And so we know that we're playing this E flat minor 6 for the 4 chord. So when I get to the 4, first off, I just want to create a melody line using the notes of the E flat melodic minor scale. So in the actual song, they usually do, I think, something like, I think the vocalist Todd does something like that. Lord, you are good, you've been so good, Lord, you are good, you've been better than good. I think that's what the melody line does. So better than good. So what we can do is we can, once again, pick an interval. Let's start off just with thirds, all right? And then we're gonna follow this melody line with a harmonized note. So let's try a third below. So F and D, a third apart, minor third apart, and we're just gonna walk that down. We're gonna walk that down the E flat melodic minor scale. So better than good. That would be harmonizing that melody using the E flat melodic minor scale. And And I can go all the way down and all the way up the scale. And then I can resolve it back to B flat major, which makes it sound like, okay, we're back home. Because this, playing a chord like this means I'm leaving the key of B flat major, which our song is in, right? So this is a really cool trick, especially when you start using out scales or scales that don't belong to the like the home key. So if we play something like that, and then I resolve it back to a chord that's inside the key of B flat major, it's this cool kind of tension and release thing, dissonance and then resolution. It's a really great sound. So that's one way we could harmonize that melody, or we could, instead of harmonizing it with the third below, let's harmonize it with the third above the melody. So da 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 da, that's the melody. Let's go. That's a third above. So Lord, you are good. Okay, so that's that booming right there. And there's really no limit to what you can do. You're just, after you pick an interval, and even the intervals don't even have to stay the same. I could start off with the third, right? With thirds. And then I can jump to sixths, right? Or let's just try that. Instead of using thirds, let's try it with sixths. So you've been better than good. You've been better than good. Let's try from the top. Lord, you are good. You've been better. Right? There it is with an interval of a six. And once again, I'm still just following the notes of the E flat melodic minor scale. And so one thing that you need to do to get comfortable with playing movements like this is being able to visualize the notes of your scale, right? You gotta be able to see the notes of the scale, hear them, so that you know you're staying in the scale, all right? And then from there, you can just practice different inversions. That's thirds. We can do fourths. Whoop. That's funky right there. So let's try that with the actual chord, so it sounds a little bit better. All right, and the interesting thing about using a technique like this is that it's when you lock in an interval, it's not always going to be the same exact interval because most scales aren't symmetric. So even if I start with fourths here, I'll start on this is the 6 and the 2 of my E flat melodic minor scale. But then when I move it up, this is technically a third actually. So fourth, this is a third, or I could do, right? So fourth, third, and we go back to fourths, fourths. And here we have this is an augmented fourth, or like a triad, or a tritone, right? So, and then same thing here, augmented fourth, perfect fourth, third. So if you're trying to keep that voicing locked in, then a lot of times you're not gonna get the same exact interval. So we had some perfect fourths, then we had some augmented fourths, or tritone, AKA, and then there was one major third interval as well in there, okay? So that is how we can use the melodic minor scale. One other thing that I'll note for the melodic minor scale is that it doesn't just work over this 4 chord. This 4 chord as a minor 6. So if you're in a major key, right, and you play the 4 as a minor 6, then this is also gonna work over the 2 as a half diminished, okay? So the 2 half diminished and the 4 minor 6 are actually essentially the same chord. If you look at the notes, E flat, G flat, B flat, and C, that's the same thing. This E flat minor 6 is the same thing as a C half diminished, or C minor 7 flat 5. I'm just taking the top note, the 6 of the E flat minor. When I move it to the bottom, it becomes the root of a C half diminished chord, okay? And so that same scale will still work. That E flat melodic minor scale will still work over there. Okay? So we can do something like that. And yeah, so it would be the same concept. If you have a half diminished chord, really anywhere on the piano, if you have a half diminished chord, you can go up to the third of that chord, and you can play a melodic minor scale based off of the third of that chord, all right? So that's just another quick tip that you can use for the melodic minor scale. All right, the last scale that we're gonna talk about is going to be the altered scale, and this is gonna be used really over any dominant chord. So the first place that you would think is actually like the 5, but we're gonna start with 3, all right? So let's say we have a 7, 3, 6, and A flat major. In A flat major, we're gonna play a 7, 3. That 3 is gonna be dominant, like an altered dominant, to the 6, okay? So that's our 7, 3, 6 chord progression. When we get to that 3 chord, or anytime we see a dominant chord, if we see an altered dominant, that means that we can play an altered scale over this dominant chord, right? So if it's a C altered chord, I can play a C altered scale over that dominant chord. Quick hack, if you want to know how to play an altered scale or build an altered scale, look at the chord that you're trying to play. So in this case, this is a C dominant chord. We're trying to build a C altered scale. Go up a half step in your right hand. So a half step above C is D flat. And then you're gonna play a melodic minor scale based off of that D flat. So D flat altered is the same thing as, D flat melodic minor is the same thing as C altered. We're just starting on different notes. So to build that C altered scale, you're playing a D flat melodic minor scale starting on C. All right, it's a lot to take in, but that's the rule of thumb. Is go up a half step, play a melodic minor scale, and that'll give you an altered scale, okay? So, same thing, we got our scale. These are our notes that we have to work with. All we wanna do is come up with a melody line, and then we can pick any intervals we want to and harmonize it. So, 7, let's do 3, to the 6, all right? Let's do, that could be one of the moves. So 7, let's do 3, to the 6. And what did I do there? I took a third, intervals of thirds, and I just walked down that scale. And then when I'm getting ready to land on the next chord, this is kind of where it takes a lot of conscious effort and thought when you're first learning moves like this, is we're going from here, I'm using the altered scale, but then as soon as I hit that F minor chord, I actually have to switch scales now, and I have to find the new notes of this either F minor scale, or you can think of it in terms of A flat major. We're kind of switching back to an A flat major scale. So then it's like, I gotta find what are the notes of the A flat major scale, going from here. All right, well, let's see. If I'm going to an F minor chord, I could stay on the B flat because that's a part of A flat major. And then this F sharp or this G flat is not in the A flat major scale, so I need to either move it down to the F or move it up to the G. Okay? And so yeah, that's how we can take that altered scale and harmonize it. Or we could do, let's try our interval of a 6 again. Okay, so. All right, so 7. And then. Or let's do. Okay, so with the concept like this, there's endless possibilities. There's so many different ways that you can approach it. Just kind of wanted to give you all the basics, which is pick a scale, figure out what scale matches with the chords or the changes that you're playing, right? After you got the scale to work with, then you're going to create a melody line. Create some type of melody or follow the melody line that's in the song, right? Just follow what the singer's doing. That makes it even easier. After you have the melody line, then what you're gonna do is pick an interval and you're going to harmonize that melody based off of the interval that you've chosen. That could be thirds. Thirds are really common. 6 are really common. Fourths and fifths, people will use fourths and fifths as well. But really you can use any interval. It doesn't matter. Every interval is gonna give you a different sound. It's gonna give you a different like emotional feel. So this is something you really just wanna experiment with. You wanna spend time and you just wanna test things out. Really when it comes to creating your own sound on the piano, a lot of the work is, yes, you understanding what's going on theoretically, but then a lot of it more so is you sitting down, like this one concept, I don't even have down 100% yet. I'm over here playing something like, oh, I don't think I've tried that before. So like on the dominant chord, there's so many different ways that you can approach it. So the cycle of fifths exercise, I could play something like that, and I could really start messing with the harmonies to where I'm playing non-diatonic chords, meaning I'm playing a bunch of chords from different, like I'm borrowing chords from different keys. So what does that mean? That would mean that I'm gonna have a bunch of different scales that I can pull from and I can create different sounds. So let's say 2, or actually let's do. Like now I'm really going wild with the kind of alterations and just the harmony, but the possibilities are endless. So like on the 2, let me see, instead of playing like a diatonic 2, we can start off with the half diminished. Then we can go altered, an altered 5, which means I'm gonna pull from an E flat altered scale. And then back to major. We could do, but instead of playing a basic major scale, maybe I pull from a Lydian, like an A flat Lydian scale. So if I'm harmonizing, that's what it sounds like. And then let's go to the 4. And maybe on the 4, I also want to play like a D flat Lydian. Keep that Lydian sound. And then let's go to our 7. I'm gonna switch it up again though. I'm gonna switch up the harmony. For the 7, I'm gonna play a G minor chord. So instead of half diminished, G half diminished, which is diatonic, I'm gonna play G minor. And so that way I can use like a Dorian. It could be natural minor. It could be whatever you want. And then 3, altered. That's C altered to the 6. And then maybe for the 6, I'm not playing A flat major over the 6. I'm playing like an F Dorian. All right. So experiment with this concept, have some fun, try it out. Sit down at your instrument, practice for a couple hours, and see what comes out. All right. Have a blessed day.